Okay, so guys, in this quick video, a couple of people have been asking about having areas of their game where there's an asset that you kind of have to drain the health of, and then it dies. So I'm going to do the example just with this egg blueprint here. So if we hit play, so all that's happening is there's this egg blueprint. It's got its own health bar. So as you drain it down, it the progress bar goes down, and then whenever it's fully destroyed, it kills the actor. And it just spawns some particles. So the way that I set this up was I made a real quick copy of the static mesh here, which is just called eggs. So this could be anything in your game. So I'll just close out a couple of these parts. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a new blueprint actor that contains this. Okay, so if I drop that into the game world, from here we're going to say let's make a blueprint / add script. I'm going to make sure it's set to my folder, bp underscore, we'll just call it nest. We're going to create that blueprint. So same as what we did in previous tutorials, the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to add some real quick collision. You could use like a capsule collider for this, or you could tweak with this and use this actual collision, but we're just going to use a box collision, same as what we've been using before. I'm just going to scale it up real fast. Again, you can spend like more time on this, but I just want to get it up and running dead quick. So from there, we pop over to the event graph. Now we've got our box collider on it. We're going to say on begin overlap. We want to check, is it the bullet? And if it is, just tell us that we've hit it properly. Okay, so our hits are working fine. So from here, what we want to do is set up a variable inside this that's called health. So I'm just going to add a new variable here. And I'm going to change the variable type to be a float. And I'm going to give a default value of 600. So what should happen here now then is whenever we hit this box and it knows that it is a bullet, we want to get the health and take a certain amount off it. So we're going to get the health, drag off here, and we're going to just go with minus, so float minus a float. We're going to take off 10, and then we're going to set the health then to be this new value. Okay, so a real quick way to see if this works is we don't need to worry about the widget yet. We're just going to print string, and we're going to plug that value in there. Okay, so we know that that much is working, so that's fine. So what we're going to want to do now is we want to check, is there no health left before we even get to this stage. So we're going to grab this again. So we're going to get the health. I'm going to check, is it less than or equal to? So is it less than or equal to another float? So if that's true. So basically, if it's less than or equal to 0, we want to do something. If that is wrong, then we want to take the health off. And just real quick to do this, we'll just do a print string and we'll say dead. So all we're missing there is the print string at the end. So we can make sure. Okay, so that's fine. So it's going through. If there's still some health left, we can. It's going through and it's taking the health off, so we know this is working all right. So we can kind of get rid of these 2 print strings at this stage if we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add in a little custom event here, which is called killed. So we're going to go add custom event, and then we're going to call it up here. So what killed's going to do is we're going to spawn a sound at location, and then we're going to spawn an emitter at location as well. So I think the one I went for earlier was, I think I just went for spider blood. Now just to test this, I'm going to set this like super low, so we're not waiting for ages. It would have helped if I had to give it a location. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get reference to self, and then we're going to get word location. I'm going to plug that in there. And then just to see if it works, we're going to do a destroy actor on the end of it. Okay, so that works fine. You'll notice the particles are quite small. So what I'm going to do is, rather than go in and make another particle, I'm just going to adjust the scale of this one here. So it's still going to spawn the emitter, but it's just going to scale it up whenever it does it. And that's maybe a bit too high, so we'll tone it down to 15. So all that's happening is whenever this finally gets killed, it's bringing the event down here. It's going to spawn a sound at the location, and then it's going to spawn an emitter at the location as well. And that could be anything. We could grab the static mesh component and we could get that word location. Instead, we might just have like a marker there, like an arrow, if we want to use that. And then it just destroys the actor. So for sound as well, like we can just grab any of these. The stuff on the spider grunt dead should be fine. The bullets in the game are kind of quite loud anyway, so you mightn't hear it. There you go. So that could be any sound. That could be like a custom sound that you import in. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to try and make a widget that we can attach to this. So we pop back out to the main editor here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to right click. I'm going to go user interface, and I want to make a widget blueprint. So I'm just going to call this UI at the start, and then we'll call it nest. I'm going to double click to open that. So by default this is set to full screen. You can also change the screen sizes as well, so you can make a widget that's specifically made for a certain device. All I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to custom, and I'm going to set it to be 500 by 500. Okay. So all I want to grab is, I'm just going to grab a progress bar here. I'm going to drag it out. I'm going to really quickly just set the anchor. It shouldn't make too much of a difference, but I'm just going to set the anchor here. And then if we pop into our graph editor we're going to need like a new variable here, because we're going to need a reference to the progress, to the health to fill up this progress bar. So straight away what we'll do is we'll pop over here, and you can see percentage goes between 0 and 1, so we just need to be aware of that. So we're going to bind and create new bind. So this is what it's going to do in order to try and get that value, and remember that value can only go as far as 1. So when we're here, we want to make a new variable, and it's going to be nest. So under variable, we're going to type nest, and we'll get a reference to that nest. So if I drag this in, I can get it, drag off here, and go get health, because that lives inside that blueprint. So in order to get a full value of 1 here, what we need to do is divide this by itself. So meaning that whatever value we've set to be the nest value, we need to divide it by itself. So this is where a lot of people would have, you would divide it by like a max health, so that way it's easily scalable. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this by 600, and then I'm just going to make sure in my BP nest that it's set back to 600 again. Okay, so the next thing we need is we need to add this to our actual nest blueprint, because at the minute we don't have anything in here. So we've got a component, and we can add a widget, and here's where it asks us which widget class would you like to add, and we want to choose that one, UI nest, and now it floats above. So we go compile and play. I've stumbled into a cutscene by mistake. Okay, so something's gone a little bit funny there. So just double check what we're doing. Oh, yeah, that was me being pretty daft. So the one thing we've not done is we've not told it what this nest thing is. So if we pop out of our event graph, so before this gets made, what we can do real quick is we can go get all actors of class. We choose nest. I'm going to go get it, and then we're just going to set this. Okay, so let's do this. Trying to, if I didn't fall off the map, that would probably help. Okay, there we go. So there's a progress bar. So now when I shoot it, it gets updated. If I shoot it the whole way down, destroys the actor and spawns the blood particles as well. So obviously you could do like a more advanced little script where maybe it gets the player's location and it always rotates the health bar to look at it. This one here is set up exactly the same way. So health bar above it, collision box. So just to recap, just to kind of real quickly run through what's happening is we just got a collision box. It's checking to see, is it getting hit by a bullet? If it is, it's just doing a real quick check. Does it have any health? If it does have health, it's taking 10 off every time, every bullet that hits it. Once it gets to 0, it's calling a thing called killed. That's going to play a sound, that's going to spawn some blood, and then it's going to destroy the actor. That then could then ping another message somewhere else, or maybe keeps track of how many you've killed, or maybe keeps track of a score. And then just the UI widget, all it's doing is setting the variable called nest at the start. So that's actually what I left out halfway through. And then all it's doing is getting the health, dividing it by itself, and it's binding it to the actual progress bar here. Okay, and that's where that bind happens there.